Bruh. Are you serious? They're allowed to do this? Really? They're getting help even more. The Florida Panthers have gone out there and made another solid trade. Coming to a crease near you. Welcome to the Sunshine State. Vitek Vanecek. The Florida Panthers have received Vitek Vanecek from the San Jose Sharks in exchange for forward Patrick Giles. That's it. It's a 1-for-1 trade, and this is a really good one for the Cats, I would say. This show is brought to you by ExpressVPN. Go out there and check out the first link in the description to save some money on your VPN, get some free months, and support this YouTube channel in the process. This is a really great trade for two reasons. Firstly, Vitek Vanecek is a pretty legit goaltender. You might not notice it at first, especially when you just look at his numbers, but this is a guy who does have some pretty decent talent, and behind Sergei Bobrovsky and behind the Florida Panthers D-Corps, which includes guys like Seth Jones, for example, he should be a lot better. And secondly, this is a great trade for Florida because of that Seth Jones trade. This works hand in hand with the Jones trade because when you think about the Florida Panthers giving up Spencer Knight to Chicago to get Seth Jones, they needed a backup goaltender. They couldn't go the whole season with some other guys rotating around in the bottom of their goaltending position. They needed another player, which is where Vitek Vanecek comes in. Vanecek is 29 years old, 6'2", 183, left-handed catching goaltender, signed on to the end of this season, making $3.4 million a year. And if you take a look at his overall body of work, I mean, guess what? He had an .882 save percentage this year. That kind of sucks, I'm not gonna lie. 2 seasons ago, though, he was at a .911 save percentage in 52 games played with the New Jersey Devils. The year before that, a .908 save percentage in 42 games with the Capitals, and then a .908 save percentage in 37 games with the Capitals. For about 3 years here, Vitek Vanecek was a legitimate starting goaltender in the National Hockey League. This season, though, with the San Jose Sharks, things have been very up and down. I mean, you can see just the recent games he had with the Sharks. 8-7-1 against the Ottawa Senators, a 9-4-3 against Winnipeg, 7-6-5 against Dallas, and a 9-17 against the Canucks. He was up and down like crazy. But can you really blame him? It's the San Jose Sharks. I mean, Alexander Georgiev is not any better at all. The Sharks' defense is terrible, so Vitek Vanecek heading back over to a team that knows how to play defense, I think it's a pretty good bet to say that this guy's probably going to have some improvement on his numbers in Florida. Now, the reason this trade also works really well for the Panthers is because look at who the Panthers gave up to make this trade happen. Patrick Giles, 25-year-old, 6'5", 216, right-handed right-wing center, a big dude who was signed on to a contract that ends next year, making $775,000. Giles is not a super significant piece. I mean, he was a Boston College guy. He spent 4 years there, was floating around in the AHL, had 9 games played with the Florida Panthers this season, but he didn't do much. He also has 7 points in 39 AHL games this year. This really isn't much of an NHL projectable name. I mean, he does have some tools, some intangibles. His size definitely makes him interesting. But Gillies heading over to San Jose, I mean, you think about the value here. What's an AHL, NHL tweener who doesn't really produce much getting traded for a starting goaltender on a bad team that can definitely be better than a starting goaltender on a bad team when he's on a good team? I mean, Vitek Vanecek did have some injury issues this season, which is why he only has 18 games played. I think it's Georgiev who had the majority of the starts this season. And okay, yeah, Mackenzie Blackwood as well, who is now in Colorado, but there are a bunch of guys rotating around. There's no definite starter if you look at just the games played number. But ultimately, Vitek Vanecek being in the spot that he is in Florida, there's so much to look forward to with him and his profile, especially as a serviceable backup behind Sergei Bobrovsky. He doesn't need to be the guy anymore. He was forced to be the guy in Washington and in New Jersey. But now, there's another guy with an albatross contract whom Vanecek can learn from in Sergei. So, obviously, there's going to be a better, let's just say, dynamic there for Vanecek and his play. If you want to look at it just individually, I think there's so much that you could pay attention to for him and his overall profile. And it's going to be bolstering up the Florida Panthers, who needed a goaltender ever since the departure of that Spencer Knight. Let's go out there and read some of the replies. And I mean, could we check out the Florida Panthers website? We can. Oh boy, look at that. There's a lot of information, but a lot of this is just kind of normal stuff for these websites. Let's scroll down and look at this. Vanecek back on a good team. Watch out. Welcome to the Sunshine State, Vitek. Vanecek hasn't had a decent defense in front of him this season, and now he does. Bob will show him the ropes. I think this is a good pickup. What are y'all trying to cook down there? Sunshine and a hockey match made in heaven? Yup. Did we really just give up Knight, a great young goalie, on an extremely friendly team deal? For this guy? Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what happened. But you got Seth Jones. I mean, Seth Jones is a pretty good asset too. So I think a lot of these Florida Panthers fans should be happy. He's literally the worst goalie in the league. I honestly don't agree with that. I think a lot of that has to do with the team. I'd say that Alexander Georgiev has been decently worse in that conversation. Tarasenko next, please. Okay, the Florida Panthers going out there maybe getting Vladimir Tarasenko. Who knows? Devils legend, let's go. It's going to be another minor league deal deadline. Honestly, I kind of feel that as well. I feel like unless Mikko Rantanen gets traded another time, I don't think we're going to see any huge significant swings. It seems a lot more like a seller's market, if I'm not going to lie here. It doesn't really seem too exciting compared to prior years. Maybe that's just because the YouTube views are down compared to before, but still, Vitek Vanecek getting traded over to Florida, I think that's a pretty decent deal. It's not a blockbuster. Like, I'm not going to go out there and put blockbuster in the title. It's a fine deal, but it's a really good trade, I would say, for the Florida Panthers. Underratedly good trade, because you think about the guy they gave up, Patrick Gillies. I mean, with respect to Patrick Gillies, who the hell is Patrick Gillies? Like, I know that he played NHL games this season, but there really isn't much to be excited for when you compare him to Vitek Vanecek, a guy who was a very, very good goaltender in the National Hockey League just 2 seasons ago. And he was good for like 3 seasons in a row. So there's a lot to like here, I would say, out of the Vitek Vanecek acquisition from the Florida Panthers' point of view. And I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. How do you feel about this trade? Sharks fans, what are your thoughts on you trading away another goaltender and receiving Patrick Gillies in return? First it was Blackwood, now it's Vanecek. Let me know in the comment section, what do you think? You got Askarov and Georgiev now as your 1 and 2, I guess. But thoughts in the comment section below about this pretty underrated good trade for the Cats. I hope you enjoyed this British Ashroll 99. And bye.